What's up, guys? I'm Dalton.
I'm Brandon.
Welcome back to the Comfort Zone Podcast. Today we have Travis and Sarah Boulware. They are the owners of Black Dog Deli and Catering. We had the opportunity to try some of their food today at lunch, and it was fantastic. So I definitely recommend checking them out.
Thank you.
Yeah. They're currently in the Mount Vernon area. They do expand to Pittsburgh, and they're working on getting all over East Texas. So their Instagram, I'll let you guys remind me. So the Facebook is Black Dog Deli and Catering, and it's the plus symbol for the and, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Instagram.
Okay, so that's the Instagram, Black Dog Deli plus Catering on Instagram, and then on Facebook, Black Dog Deli and Catering.
Black Dog Catering.
Black Dog Catering, perfect.
That one's harder to change. I haven't
Yeah.
figured it out yet.
Yeah. So check them out. Great pictures on their stuff. It's not one of those that looks great and then just tastes bland. There's tons of flavor we picked out, and that
Nice.
that corn. Try their corn. They had that. What was it? It's like a fair.
Fried street corn.
Yeah.
It was like a funnel cake type breading or something. Like it was sweet, but
It's kind of something we messed with for a while.
it was awesome.
We have our test kitchen nights where we'll just try the same recipe over and over and over again, and decide, all right, when is it going to be perfect? And that one just felt like, to us, like the ultimate food truck fun food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I ordered it because I was there. I was like, I'm just gonna keep ordering stuff. I don't walk away because I got the meal, then I got that, and then I got the churros, which were awesome.
I don't.
Thank you.
I'll tell you right now, Brandon can put down some food. So if you ever come to Mount Pleasant, make sure that we know you're here because we'll definitely come grab some food.
Oh yeah, we'll be around.
Which it is tough. Have y'all tried in Mount Pleasant yet? Like,
Not yet.
There's a lot of city ordinances here that make it difficult for a lot of them. You know, you almost have to own the property that you're going to go on. Like even if the landlord, like the people are okay with it, they're real tough. And then they require a lot of like extra permits. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of stuff supposed to be changing. Hopefully it changes because we'd love to see you guys here as much as possible.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know?
And we're familiar with that kind of, struggle. There's a little bit of challenges in Mount Vernon as well, with what locations you can set up. It has to be outside of city limits, and so we've kind of navigated around that, and we're used to it at this point, but it is something that we do hope to be a part of the change,
Which
For sure.
Atlanta, I don't know if you've ever gone there, but there's like places in Atlanta that is set up for people, like food truck vendors. There's a couple that are there full time, and there's a couple that'll bring them in and set them up. And but it's in city limits, and it's like, hey, we have a designated area for it. And like to me, because we talked about a potato house style. We've talked about it a few times. And when I was doing research on it, I was like, y'all have all this space. Y'all could do that if you don't want to just random everywhere. Like, let's create a space that it's for, And I think that would be awesome for some of these small towns to do because not that like Two Senoritas and all these restaurants here aren't good restaurants, but you kind of get old. It gets old having the same option. So like, hey, every other Tuesday we get Black Dog Deli. You know what I mean? Like it's something that like if y'all knew it was like every other Tuesday or first Tuesday of the month, I know what I'm doing. My lunch is planned. But I think things are changing in a lot of these small towns. So hopefully that lets it get a little bit more easier access for you guys because it's definitely worth the trip outside of city limits to go try the food.
No doubt.
That's
It was
awesome.
good. And
I
it
do,
was,
real quick before we breeze past it, we've heard Mount Vernon, they are trying to relegate food trucks to an area, a designated area, Little Creek Park
Okay.
down there, but it's certain months out of the year. We haven't got a lot of information on it, so it was just the easiest thing to do is just, all right, well, we know where we can go. So and that's right outside city limits.
Yeah. Have y'all done like wildflower trails or watermelon festivals or any of that kind of stuff yet?
No, it's still new.
not just yet.
Yeah, that eclipse was our first weekend. We literally launched that weekend, so it was kind of
that's a great weekend to launch.
right exciting. But what it does is kind of fudges your perception of, okay, this is not going to be our day to day. You get that first sales report read, and you're like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Ups and downs always.
what is y'all's flexibility of traveling and chasing those events? Because there are those all over East Texas,
Right.
Because so the Watermelon Festival's in July. Highly recommend going there. It's always big. My granddad used to have a Mexican food truck always did really well. Literally built the food truck and did it for that 1 weekend a year. Now it's not as big as it used to be, but I mean, 1 year paid for the trailer. The rest of the
awesome.
years were all, profit. So it's definitely stuff out there. The Jamboree in Gilmer.
Yeah,
So I
Jamboree.
mean, so even within a small travel area, there are places to go. So I didn't know if y'all kind of have a business plan towards moving to those type of deals.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. So the business plan as a whole is kind of different though, because we're doing catering obviously during the summer. Our weekends just go, back to back, booked up, booked up,
Yeah.
to where we're months out booked up. So our weekends are pretty much off limits for anything other than
Yeah.
caterings, and that's actually good for us. I mean, it is nice to get out and travel and see stuff. That's why we have the truck. But in its infancy, it's given us the sales and stuff we need to grow.
Yeah.
To be able to really enjoy the truck. Right now, it's great, and love doing it. It's getting the brand out there more though. So
Yeah.
right now, it's serving its purpose for that, and the caterings are really keeping us rolling. So the weekends, at least through the summer right now, are pretty much booked with private catering.
Is
Which
it
great.
mainly like weddings?
Weddings, birthdays.
Weddings, birthdays, bachelorette parties, girls' weekends, guys' weekends, just getaways in general. I mean, we're so close to Lake Cypress Springs and Bob Salmon that it's just convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And we're able to deliver like a really fun experience for a lot of the people that are coming, using this as a vacation place. A lot of the people that have the vacation homes at the lake, we're able to provide food when they get there, charcuteries when they get there, and that's been a really fun thing to do because the menus are always custom, so it's ever changing, and we really enjoy that because that's the whole reason we're in this business to start, is having new experiences and bringing new food to the area. So
Yeah, it's been great. And then you can expand on it a little bit because we're getting to where we can team up these weekend getaway things. So there's a yoga instructor. She does little private yoga retreats too. So this is just another
Oh, yeah.
deal you can add to a package where we can cater, we can do yoga retreats. Our sister-in-law is an esthetician, so she can package in there, and you've got like this all-inclusive kind of getaway. Then you're dealing with two people instead of
Multiple
getting it from
different-
everywhere else. So.
Yeah.
And we didn't set out to do that. That's just kind of what is organically happening right now.
Yeah.
We've been noticing over the past couple months, so it's awesome. Just kind of hold on and see where it goes, and it's been great.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
Sorry. To answer your question, we did have originally, a whole calendar planned out of events here, Dallas, East Texas, and kind of had ideas of where we planned to be and everything. But catering took off so quick that really and truly we're not able to be at all of the events that we need to be at. Yet we need more of us at this point. So
We blocked off a couple. We're doing Lake Cherokee 2 times this summer. Up there June 1st and August 30th, I believe. But so that'll be new for us and the farthest we've ever gone with the truck. So
Overall, busy is a good problem to have, though.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one thing you said earlier when it came to like branding and stuff, I'd love to. You had the question of like where the name came from.
Yeah.
I'll let her take that one.
yeah, I love this story. So we don't have kids yet. Our dogs are our kids. A lot of people are this way, and so always as we're doing something, we say that we're doing it for the boys, our dogs. And so that came the name, Black Dog Deli.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it? You have 2? You
We
said?
have 2, yes. We have a mutt, he was a rescue, and then a Great Dane as well. So the Great Dane is the beautiful one, so we put him
Oh,
on the
yeah.
logo.
Yeah, those are scary.
Those things are big.
I used
Oh,
to-
they're gentle giants.
I had one bite my arm one time and never broke skin. It was just one of those like, hey, Lynn, we're here. I was I won't get into the company, but I worked for a company. I was in people's homes a lot. I was basically a director over the territory, and I had to hand the customer product. I'd been sitting there the whole time. This dog had laid its head in my lap, let me pet it, been there for like an hour. But then at the end, when we stood up and I went to hand his owner a device, the dog latched onto my arm.
No.
And I just kind of stood there and looked. And I was like, well, it doesn't hurt. Like, but he didn't let go. I didn't want to like pull or anything. And then he let go, and the guy's eyes got big. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And the dog just went back to wagging his tail and like hanging out with me, but like just that protective little
Just
bit.
kind of putting you in check.
Yeah, just like, "Hey, I'm letting you know I'm here. I'm here."
And your arm fits in my mouth.
No sudden movements.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the name's there. We talked about doing like the test menu for the fried corn. So I'm assuming that's kind of how y'all got started, just messing around.
There's so many things that happened between there. So I worked construction.
Yep.
Right, and when we met, I worked construction, and it just wasn't my thing. I love building stuff. I love working with my hands and stuff. I'm not bad at construction. I'm decent, but it wasn't what I wanted to do in life. I'd rather use it as a hobby. But anyways, I would cook for her and stuff. So she started filming it, and then we started uploading just little quick cut cooking videos. We put music on it and whatever. And then they started getting a lot of views and stuff. So then they got monetized, and then so we took music off of them because we're like, oh crap, we can actually make at least enough money to cover the groceries.
Yeah.
Because we started to where we were feeling it. We were like, well, I'll start cooking stuff that's just crazy, that people around here
Shock
don't
value.
normally eat, and the stuff I picked up along the way in culinary school and working other places. But it grew from that, and I was in a restaurant at the time when we were shooting those videos, and it was, I can say it's 5B Burger in Mount Vernon. It's closed down now. But we started running these daily specials, and they really caught on, and it was just fun. And I realized, like, I always thought coming back to Mount Vernon and cooking would not work because no one in East Texas wants to try anything,
Right.
It's not a chicken fried steak with gravy, and it's not mac and cheese, but I found that I got a lot out of just watching someone try something for the first time and actually giving in and saying, that's good.
Yeah.
After talking so much crap about fancy foods and you don't need all this stuff, it's like, well, just try it,
Yeah.
You should have been in our truck today because we were like, oh my God, that's all.
Well, my wife and I are like, when we plan like weekend getaways for Valentine's or birthdays and stuff, like we'll go travel to go eat somewhere and like literally go somewhere specifically for a restaurant. Like we ate at some chefs that were like on some of Gordon Ramsay shows and stuff. They have a restaurant. We're like, all right, well, that's here. Let's go there this Valentine's Day. We'll book a hotel, Airbnb, and we're gonna go eat their food. Like, so we travel to do it, and that's our goal. Is like, everybody says they want to do that when they retire, and we try to do a little bit of it now while we're young. But like, we want to travel and go do that. And I think it's cool that you're, like you said, it's not your standard chicken fried steak Tex-Mex restaurant that's all over East Texas, which is good. It's good food. It's not bad food, but it's something you don't have to travel to go get something unique or that's different than what is your everyday, cuisine.
Right.
And that was the thing that, like, I don't know, like, I love chimichurri. I don't know the last time I saw one in a restaurant here, like where you could get some, and that's why I was like, can you put that on my burrito? Like,
So good.
Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but if I see something on TV and it looks so dang good, when I go to eat it, I'm thinking about when I'm watching it there, and I'm like, it's that fulfillment of I wanted that, now I have it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and cooking shows got so huge over the past 2 decades or so, and you see all this stuff, and people, they can't just make that. Say if you saw, like a chicken shawarma is from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Delicious. I mean, it's just like a burrito, but they don't know how to make that.
Yeah.
So just being able to give that to people, and I got to try something, and it's making it story worthy, where even a 5-second story of going to work and saying, I tried this place, they have this, you should try it out.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah, there's a Jamaican lady that does catering and stuff from Pittsburgh. She worked at a restaurant. She would do it, and like every other week, she would do a Jamaican chicken curry, which is different than like a Thai chicken curry or anything like that. And I would go every time. Every time I knew that was the chicken curry days, because like we happened to be there one time, my wife and I, and got to experience it, and we're like, this is a regular thing for y'all. So until the restaurant closed down, we went every time. And
now that's a memory that you have forever.
Yeah, and because I remember her coming out, like it was a slow day one time, and like our son was just born, and like he is throwing a fit. Like food just came out, he starts throwing a fit, And she's like, do you mind if I hold them? And we're like, sure. And she just talks to us and bounces them and holds them, let's eat. So it's an experience, you know. It's like,
Awesome.
hey, I remember, you know, doing this when he was a baby and getting to experience some really good food and good people and, you know, hanging out and experiencing something that you normally don't see in Mount Pleasant or Pittsburgh area. And I think that's cool. I mean, I think y'all's, on y'all's Facebook, you know what you say, like y'all's, I don't know, you call it a mission statement,
Of a
but
bio,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
it was,
It's like bringing good food to good people.
Yeah.
You know, and just that's it. I mean, and like you summed it up perfect, and you can tie it to so many memories and so many. Like in that memory, you talked about your kid. Like
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you remember the day, you remember all this stuff, and it's amazing. I mean, it's
Flavors and smells, you know, are some of the most memorable things for us and can trigger memories from our childhood or anything. And, you know, one of the most beautiful things when we started the cooking videos was really just the time spent together, you know, filming things, talking about flavors, planning it out and all of that. You know, we just created so many memories in that. And it's so fun to see that we can bring that to other people as well, you know, and to watch other people try new things that they would have never maybe tried before. That's one of those things that's just really a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, that's we don't get that experience here fixing phones. You make people happy a little bit fixing phones, but I like that the catering and all that stuff. Like you said, the flow of the business has been so natural. It seems that it's almost taken off on its own. We were just talking about that with a lot of the things that we've tried, like the seasoning for one. We did it because it was fun. It's something that we wanted to do, make money or not. We like to cook and stuff too, and grill, and we're like, why not the hobby?
right.
Ended up flipping this house. We got into some massage chairs, which is on one of the other podcasts, and so we had the cell phone repair that, flipping the house, so we kind of just set that aside. And as soon as we did, it kind of naturally just started taking off on its own, and it's still on the up climb, but we're not really doing it. It's
Right.
So those are to me, those are the businesses that are going to be the most successful, are the ones that kind of just float along on their own. And,
well, it's also good we didn't get immediate growth from it.
yeah.
We gave away a ton. Samples, went out and hit the streets with it the first few weeks, and like when nobody said yes, I'll buy it, right? We just kind of gave up and like moved on. It's like, well, we're not giving up, but like we'll focus on this when we have more time. But over time, people were still trying it or sharing it with each other because you share food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that like, so the word of mouth got it and was like we're getting calls back of like, hey, I need more. I had this guy at church that I don't even remember giving him one, and now they order 4 or 5 bottles every month. You know,
Wow.
I mean,
You
That's
let it
awesome.
marinate on
Yeah.
is what you do.
yeah.
Last food pun.
yeah.
But yeah.
So okay, I'll ask this too because I have this argument with my dad on a steak. Do you believe you should rub or marinate?
Rub.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I-
You want to keep the meat dry. I mean,
Yeah.
you can marinate it and you can pat it dry and all
To-
that, but it's still.
To me, a marinade's for a lower quality cut.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you're doing a ribeye, you don't marinate a ribeye. No, I mean that's
You're right where you need to be on that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wish we had some seasoning. We'd give you some. We
We will.
Y'all have to try
We-
We'll get y'all some.
I'm sure we'll see.
We have a
later.
bunch of stuff. We got to make some. So
yeah, we just started. You said you are making videos, and that's where a lot of y'all's are beginning traction. So we really didn't do that. You know, one of our first videos, I think I fixed an iPhone 12 battery, and like it got 12,000 views in the first 4 hours, and it's like, all right, we need to be doing this. And then bought some stuff, videoed a few. Couple of them got a few thousand. Couple of them got 200. Another one hit 10K, and then just stopped and just didn't stay with it. Right? 'Cause
Right.
it's like, we're not. This isn't what we want to do. Like, it doesn't benefit the cell phone repair shop here for somebody in New York or ever. You know what I mean? To do
It
this.
was just fun.
Yeah,
For me.
but the thing is, it wasn't fun enough for us to continue doing.
Right.
Where like now with this, we enjoy this.
Oh, yeah.
So like the editing and everything afterwards, the TikTok, all this stuff to try to grow these accounts. It's fun. It's worth it. You know, I don't need it to hit 10K views on one particular video or anything like that. But you do want some traction for the work you're putting in. You know, so we had to kind of take a step back and look. Like our first episode, overall platforms had over 12,000 hits, but it was in 300 here, 500 here, 1,100 here, between like Audible or a podcast or what's the other one, Spotify, YouTube. So like together it did, but when you're just going and looking at one place, it's like, man, they only got 300 views here,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit hard to deal with, right? So that's what I was getting to, is like when you were doing this and like you weren't doing it other than like just a fun husband and wife thing. You enjoyed cooking, she enjoyed video, and it just naturally did that. Did you feel like you needed to produce like videos? Was there a point? It's
Content.
Like, it's
that,
like, oh, I need to do that.
It did get to a point, and very short-lived. We're like, that's stupid to think that way.
Yeah.
Why are we feeling like that's added
That
stress?
pressure,
for no
pressure,
reason.
stress.
Like, we don't have a fan base to like.
Yeah.
No one's gonna, cancel us because we stopped putting out content, in our personal lives. Like but it was fun. And then, but like you said, I spent time making these meals, and it was like, I get like 3,000 hits right on Instagram. It was good. And then I made a grilled cheese video one day where I didn't show it, make it, or anything. It was just a grilled cheese on a cutting board, and I hit it with a knife and like did a cheese pull and set it next to
the money shot.
a soup, like a bowl of tomato soup that I didn't even make. They just poured it.
It was a struggle
in there.
meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I put that up and posted it, and like a couple hours, it was like 12,000 on Instagram. Oh, I added a sound clip, like a,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and that was it. And I was like, all right, this is stupid now. I thought
His
my
chef
work
brain.
was getting people's views, and I'm like, no.
Exactly. It's our best one so far.
Yeah.
Is me testing the mic, and I did the rap. I did the rap from Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
the traffic.
Shrink.
Oh.
No, I did the traffic.
Said
That's
traffic,
right, yeah.
traffic.
Throwback.
On my chapstick.
Yeah, I got like 5,300 views
Yeah,
on
like
it.
that,
But
yeah.
prior to that, on my TikTok, the most that it got surpassed by a different one. I did a stuffed poblano video, like how-to video on that for like a diet program. But the most viewed video before that, they got like natural views of me just posting and waking up the next day to like 4,000 or 5,000, was how I eat my Pop-Tarts. So I do unfrosted. It has to be Pop-Tart brand. Can't do off-brand. Unfrosted strawberry Pop-Tarts with margarine, not real butter, and you don't toast it. You heat it up in the microwave and make it soggy, and it's delicious.
You fork and knife it?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a caveman. I eat it with my fingers. I lied. I don't fork and knife
Just
it.
real quick, are you excited about that Pop-Tart movie coming out?
What Pop-Tart movie?
This week.
It's the inventor of Pop-Tart. They're doing like a
I did not
biopic.
know that.
And it's Jerry Seinfeld.
I didn't. So okay, can't watch it.
It's on Netflix.
You hate him?
So it's. I don't hate him. I don't have any like there's not a political or religious or any reason for me to not like him. I don't know enough about him to disagree with him. I can't stand his voice.
He's obnoxious.
Yeah, I can't hear his voice. My
Jerry!
wife loves B movie, and like she waits until I fall asleep because it's one of her comfort movies, B movie, and like the movie's fine. I can't watch it. I can't hear his voice without my skin crawling.
Right.
There's some voices like
It's
that.
funny
just
that her
don't like
comfort. She has a comfort movie, B movie.
Yeah.
My comfort movie is Boss Baby.
That's one of hers too.
I don't know why. It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
She's on a Pink
It's
Panther
precious.
kick right now. So we watched Pink Panther 1 and 2, and then my son started watching it, and they found this old Pink Panther and Pals on Amazon Prime. So that's all I've been watching is Pink Panther for the last 3 weeks.
My
Be
favorite
worse.
cartoon is The Creeds.
The Croods.
The Crews.
The Crews.
Yeah, golly, that movie is fun.
It
The
is
first
funny.
one. Second one was okay, but the first one, man, I remember having, because I have 3 kids, 13, 9, and 7 now, but this was like when it came out. This was probably, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
All the kids were little, and like they should have been like glued to the TV, and I remember like belly laughing. Nobody's even in there. Everybody
but
that
that's-
laughed.
They make the movies for adults more, I think,
Yeah.
honestly.
The
The humor
parallels in that
anyhow.
one are, it's like a real family problem.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cavemen.
It's so awesome.
Well, Croods 2 came out, and it was the first movie we took Jensen to, because he's like 1
Okay.
at the time. So when we took him, we got halfway through the movie. Me and Chelsea had already seen the first one, but he got halfway through the movie, and he's starting to fit. My mom and dad, Chelsea, are like, all right, let's just leave. And I'm like, come back and get me. I want to finish. I've never walked out of a movie. I want to finish it. We didn't get to finish it. So I went home and rented it on Prime. So I watched it anyway. So I was like, no, I'm going to watch it. I enjoyed it.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's I want to ask y'all too, because we were talking on the way to Mount Vernon today about partnerships. What you say about
So
because you posted something.
yeah, so I posted a comment. Dave Ramsey, I'm not a huge fan of his. I mean, I like him like as a person and all that stuff. I just don't agree with a lot of his financial advice. I think it's fine for like if you're a middle class person that's like just needs to learn how to save because you're bad with money. That's fine, but I don't think it's good financial advice for a business owner and somebody that's realistically trying to create wealth. Like I don't think it works that way anymore. But he had a video about like partnerships and like absolutely against them. I don't care if it's family, I don't care if it's your brother, best friend, all this stuff. Wife, he's like, I don't care. You don't do it. They work for you. One of you's the boss, the other person works for you. Which to me, is selfish. And that's what I kind of just made a comment. And it's crazy. I've had like 10 comments that I've made on some video, random dumb video that had like 10,000 views, but then my comment would have 15,000 likes. So like, how come I can't ever get hits on my videos, but people want to, like or talk crap on my comment?
They like your voice, not your face.
Yeah.
And people like to talk crap. So.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I wasn't even being a troll. I was just like, hey, this is another thing that I don't really agree with. I love having a business partner. That's all I commented, and people just attacking, like, you wait for your headache, wait for, you know what I mean, and all this stuff. And I was just like,
so negative.
yeah. And the only response I said is like, for me and him, the reason our partnership works, yes, we have checks and balances, we have things I'm good at, things he's good at, and we recognize that, and that's all great to talk about. We've talked about it on plenty of podcasts. We've talked about it with a lot of people that are asking, like, hey, how does this operate for y'all? But what it comes down for us is, like, neither one of us are ever selfish with each other over money or time. Like, it is, I care about his time with his family. He cares about mine. I care about, in financial investments. He cares about mine,
Mm-hmm.
So like for you guys, it's a different dynamic. We're not, we're not married, You guys are married. So at what point, because like you said, it just started with like videos and stuff. You were doing cosmetology, right?
Yes, and still am.
Yeah, and still am. So
yes. So it's all about balance. Balance
Yeah.
is the name of the game for us. I mean, honestly, and then just kind of knowing our roles too. I think we've done really good with that just in our marriage. And it's one of those things where I recognize his strengths. He's the chef. But the two of us, he also recognizes when I have a creative idea and I say, hey, well, is this going to work together? Can you cook these things together? Can you make this work? And, we just kind of spitball ideas off of each other. So there's been a really natural balance with everything. There's, of course, always in a partnership and then in the name of starting a new business, too, a lot of different stressors that can come on and things like that. But so far, we've done really well with just knowing when to take a step back, take a day even, just to say, you know what, no business for the day. Let's just take this time to ourselves, go out, go on a date, figure out a way to just get back to us.
The old personal day.
Yes.
It always seems to work.
We live for them, and we live to travel. We do love doing that. And so, really we just make sure that we keep that balance there and keeps us both happy.
That's awesome, because I know you said you cut hair too, right? So
Yes.
do you do it? Do you have a salon, or do you do it at home? Or?
I do. Well, I rent a booth
Okay.
in Mount Vernon, and
Salon Revive.
yeah, it's Salon Revive. And so I'll work 2 days a week now at this point, and just kind of fit them all there. And of course, with catering and being self-employed, that's one of those things that our schedule is made by us, so we can change whenever we need to. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that we talked about that before. That is the biggest key. And like right now, it's your time with each other. Down the road, if you have kids, like with us, with our kids, like he's never had to miss a ball game. I've never had to miss a ball game. We've never had to miss a church event. We've never
What's
had
important.
to. Yeah, like we could always be there.
Yeah.
Now there's some times where like we're showing up right on time because we did have a busy day. But like at the end of the day, y'all have the freedom to take those days, to take those us days.
There's some times where you're like, oh, guess who's flexible? I get to take all 3 kids to the dentist.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes
I mean-
you get too flexible. You don't want to do those things, but
Got
it's
to.
a good problem to have.
And that's also why, we did build this business for ourselves. It was grueling. I mean, it's a scary thing taking that dive. As you guys know, being business owners yourselves, it's a scary thing to take on. You question at the beginning, can you do it? And we were able to just make it work. But the whole purpose in doing it is to have that freedom, is to have a life where you're not having to answer to a boss that says, oh, you can't go to your kid's game, or you don't have the time to go and see your mom because we need you for these set hours. It's been really nice just having a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I love it too. But a lot of people don't see it on the flip side of that coin, the stress. And like, I love the name, I love our comfort zone name, because you have to step out of that comfort zone. I mean, it's not everybody. We talked about this too. We talk about a lot of good stuff about
We're intelligent.
Yeah, about how everyone assumes because you're a business owner and you work for yourself that you're, rich. Like, I don't know, that just to me seems.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
People think just, oh man, you own your own business, you got it made, But
Right.
there's a lot of stresses and a lot of things that come along with business, especially small businesses, that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
When you lay it out to people, I think, or I've done it in the past, where it's like, imagine doing your job, and then your boss's job, and then his boss's job,
Yeah.
her boss's job, their
Exactly.
boss's job, all the way up to the chain till you get to the owner,
Yep.
who's sitting in a mansion somewhere, but you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
You got your house.
Yeah. I think too, though, when it comes to like y'all said, y'all wanting to grow and possibly eventually, if you have multiple trucks, with any new business, I had the opportunity that I didn't have to go through this because I used to work for him, and then I came into an established business. But for you guys, especially you and Pablo, when y'all are doing it, and if y'all ever go to this point, is I came into a business knowing that, hey, we have things we can delegate. Whereas like right now, like you said, you're doing everything. You're the chef, CEO, and
Secretary,
the janitor.
all of it,
You're
yes.
all of it. And like with us, we can kind of take a step and say, hey, I've got this going on. Can you call this person, or vice versa? You're like, hey, are you open today to call Centerpoint? No, you do it tomorrow.
So y'all got that established, then your list of whatever you've got, vendors, repairmen, whoever. So it's quick communication for y'all right now.
Yeah.
We're still building that. It's quick communication, like we get what each other are talking about, but maybe not the next step or why, hey, can you call them while I'm doing this? But the why isn't there, like, I don't understand, but I'm going to do it anyway,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So we're still figuring that out, kind of what each other's next move is, so we can be there to help without having to talk, you know what I mean?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's things like you said with time, like you're already going to know the decision. Like if one of the employees comes to him and says, hey, this is going on with this customer, what do I do? Like, it's something that we've seen before, so like he doesn't have to reach out to me. Same vice versa, like I don't have to reach out to him. Now there's some times where it's more of an information thing, like, hey, we messed up this. The laser machine hit this. It's going to cost us $300 to fix. We got to fix it. I'm just letting you know. It's costing us money.
Mm-hmm.
You have those conversations, and it's like, well, that stinks. But it's never a big deal on the communication side. But it's okay, how do we keep them from? Was it a mistake they made, or is it a mistake with the laser, or is it a mistake I made? He just broke something today, over tighten a thing that he told him, make sure you don't over tighten that, you're going to break it. We go to take it off. Hey, it's broken, so it happens.
Hilarious what you're speaking on, because I'm sure Travis can relate so much in the fact that I went from being, a full-time hairstylist and not really having any sort of a cooking background, more just filming him cooking, to now, because we don't want to pay employees yet, we're in the infancy of our business.
Mm-hmm.
Learning to be a fry cook, being the cashier, helping with prep and all of these things.
Yeah.
So we're at a super fast speed,
You have
getting me up to
progressed
speed.
so quickly. Just know that. So
Thank you.
Well, I wish I had a picture of how my wife holds a knife. You wouldn't want to be in the same room. It's not safe. So
Wasn't any better.
Not in a
I
trade.
didn't even make my hands go that way. She's a great cook. It's nothing like that. Which is funny. And babe, sorry, I'm gonna put your business out there. When we first got married, I did not think she was a good cook, and it's because, and I didn't realize till later that it was like we sold our house and moved in with my parents for a little bit to remodel a house for us to live in because we're eventually gonna build. So like an opportunity came up to where they got a house with some land and they were leaving us some land, so we're gonna build. So we're like, all right, well, we'll sell our house while the market's hot. We'll move in. Well, during that process, Chelsea's still a stay-at-home mom. She was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years. So she's like, all right, well, I'll cook most of the meals. So she starts cooking, and like out of nowhere, I'm like, where did this come from? Like our food, I got used to. It was always okay. I was like, where did you learn to cook like this? And she's like, it's easier to cook for 4 people. She's like, I don't know how to like change it down. Because I mean, there were some that I felt like SpongeBob from the water with how salty it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy how like just for her comfortability of like,
Yeah.
I can cook for a group. I can't cook for just me and you. Especially like, I'm a little overweight, so like I've gone through stages of like, eating clean and stuff. Because when we first dated, I was 180 pounds. I'm 230 now, right? So like, I know. We'll tell a story about when I
She's
first started
feeding you
working.
good.
But
I guess feeding for 4. How many is it? There's 3 in y'all's house. So guess who's eating the other person?
yeah. That's what I told her. I was like, just make enough for her. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't gonna go to waste. But no, another thing too is I'm not a crock pot guy. Like most things that are like sauces and gravies in a crock pot, like that's not me. I grew up like we grilled like 5 nights, 6 nights a week.
Mhm.
We just grilled food. Like, and it wasn't always like the same thing too. Like we would switch it up.
Yeah.
And because my mom's Hispanic too, so like, but she grew up learning to cook like that. But she also like my grandmother, my dad, who's white, mom, when she was a teen, started cooking with her. So like she had kind of both like that more
Oh, cool.
American home style, upbringing and cooking, but then that Hispanic, cooking and
Little fusion.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's cool.
she's a fantastic cook, and it's just like there's certain things too though that like no matter how many times you try, you can't make it as good as somebody, right?
Right.
Like I'm not tooting my grandmother's horn or anything, but like I'm not a cake person. I don't really like desserts. I'll eat the whole cake when she makes a chocolate cake. Like it's the best chocolate cake on the planet.
His mom to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not even big on desserts, but when that woman bakes,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put it down.
Yeah.
It's just,
So I think there's something to the science behind what you were talking about, and that was kind of in my business, I guess my pitch to her, and I guess our business model along the way is create something that, because I've done it in my past where I'll eat at a place like 4 days out of the week and get the same thing. Because there's something about it.
That's how I am.
Some unexplainable thing. And as I've honed my skills and grown, I still grow all the time as a chef, but there is some kind of like, I don't know, intangible thing that makes food good. It can be packaging. If it comes nice and homogeneous and it's good, and it could be a memory attached to it, like in grandma's cake, stuff like that. It's crazy how much it actually changes.
I want to ask y'all this. I told him I almost forgot until he just said like when he's talking about packaging and stuff. So we were talking about it, I was like, I wonder because especially when you're in the infancy stage. I like that you called it that. I'm going to start using that from here on out. When you're in the infancy stage of a business, you get very, very detail oriented on things that most people don't care about. That's very standard, right?
yes.
And it's normal. We all go through it. Y'all's knives is the best plastic knife I've ever used, and I was curious. I said, I wonder if that just happened to be what the vendor is, or if there was thought behind it. Because I know a lot of new businesses care about that kind of stuff. And
Well, we have a steak frites on the menu. That's king.
Yes,
Gotta have it.
and it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
yeah,
Like I wanted it to be, because I had said it the other day, I would keep this in my truck.
yeah. I mean, it was.
There's a couple of them in the door.
Yeah. and that's your average person's not going to think, oh, they cared about that, right? But as a business owner, you kind of, if you're
We
open
do
to it,
care.
you're curious of like, they probably put time and tried vendors to get the perfect knife for their food, because it was the best knife I've ever used. It was a plastic knife.
There's nothing worse than when you go out to eat somewhere, and you're trying to eat a taco and it falls apart, or
Yeah.
you know, something like that. Like you want to go and it be a good experience. You don't have to struggle to try to eat the
go
food or
food
look
is
stupid
so-
while you're trying to eat
Yeah.
the food. The
Yeah.
fork breaks or whatever. You know, I mean, so we definitely put a lot.
To
of
go
effort into
food
it.
is really, really hard because you have to imagine you're taking that 15, 20 minutes. It's in a little oven. If there's bread in there, it's going to condensate.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And we went so far as to we would test just at home a sandwich, a Reuben, you know, wrap it up, let it sit for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then eat it and see, hey, is it still the same flavor? Is this going to be something that people are going to love?
The seasoning. That's something we didn't know because we're doing a lot of the research, right, and learning like flavor profiles, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a dry seasoning, but as they sit, like the potency changes.
Oh.
And there was stuff that was like a perfect blend
Yeah.
for those first 2 weeks, but then we package, and then we're trying it later, and like, man, that heat is there. That is
Yeah.
way more spicy now than it was when we first made this.
Oh, wow.
So like, there's stuff, you know, we don't know. We
So-
didn't go to culinary school. Like we just like to eat, made our own blends, tested them, sent them out, tested them again, took notes, changed it. You know, we just went through a trial and error process to get the right flavor.
Yeah.
You know?
So on that, this connects to that knife thing. This would be the version of that for y'all. How did you put thought into the size of the hole
Yeah.
at the top of your bottle?
So that was the thing too, is when we bought them, I did research, I thought, okay, what is gonna work for basically, you know, we're doing a lot of granulated with the rub, it's not powders, right?
Mhm.
So it needs to be a decent sized hole.
Distributed.
Yeah. I asked, like, I would email, like all the people would give it to, I'd text them or email a list of like, these are things I want to know your opinion about, and that was one of them. And we got a lot of people with our first package that was like, we don't like the holes. They're
Mhm.
not the right size for what it is. So we had to change vendors. We had to go through that process.
I think the worst case scenario of that, and this happens with us with like our shakers and stuff in the truck, but easy to fix. But I've bought seasonings before, and you use it, say half the bottle's gone. Well, the ratio of the seasoning is completely changed because the black pepper granule doesn't fit through the hole
Yeah.
or something like that. And then you've got a bottle of black pepper now, and you've sifted out every other seasoning in there.
Yeah.
The details.
You know?
Well, I will say, as far as like a mix goes, it also depends. I've found this is depending on the mix. So, like when you're using a granulated garlic, you're using a coarse black pepper, and then it's like there's not a granulated paprika,
Right.
right? So it's still going to be a hot or sweet paprika, but the texture is the same. So, but that's a different texture. So there is sometimes there's not much you can do, no matter if it's the holes or not, right?
Right.
It's not going to blend well. And
Things are
and-
gonna settle
Yeah.
at different rates too.
yeah, exactly. And you know, when you're doing it, you do it by the ounce for your packaging. So like you have to like stamp it down,
Mhm.
like because it'll fill up and then you condense it down.
Mm.
And even though it's hand mixed or table mixed or however we do it, like as you're stamping it down, you're pouring that last little bit. That last little bit's going to be, you know, a lot softer, not packed
Right.
out, and then it's going to sit, and then it may go through from this truck to this truck and move. So all that mixture, sometimes I've seen our bottles to where like the color is like a nice even red all the way through, and then like you'll have one like you can see like a garlic patch that didn't blend in good because that garlic will turn red.
It's like
over
one of those
time
sand
as it
jars
sits
that
with
you
that-
make
yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's hard as a, you know, for us, we're learning as a manufacturer to do that. How do you get it at a even consistency?
Yeah.
So we're about 3/4 of the way through the podcast. We're going to go ahead and do our quote of the day. Sometimes we can talk about it if it relates to something, sometimes not. But Brandon's got our quote today. Now this is not one that we had we don't know who it was by. It's unknown.
It's unknown. Quote of the day: worrying is like worshiping the problem. And that's bad and so lost to a test. A lot of the times, 85% of the time, you worry about something that does not even affect your life. You're focused on it so hard, but really, at the end of the day, it's not even going to matter. I mean, you're just feeding the fire to something that's irrelevant.
Mhm.
I know it means a lot to you at the moment, but you can talk about that in anything, business, with your kids, with your spouse, with your job. But so yeah, I love that quote. Hats off to Dalton. He's the one that brought it. I just had to say it. So,
I don't even remember where I found it. I have so many notes for like T-shirts or quotes and stuff on my phone, and when we didn't prepare one because we forgot. This is the second time we're doing the quote of the day. We already forgot. So
Yeah.
we'll
It
get
might
better.
be your
Really
quote,
take
since it's unknown.
yeah.
No, I didn't think of it. I would remember if I was thinking of it. So I have moments of brilliance of saying something that's not necessarily smart, but that is like, man, where did that come from?
Surprising.
Yeah. Last night at church, I was just talking to Tim about this this morning. There's a gentleman there, lovely guy. He's very, he's a teacher, like so very like college and all this stuff. And we were just talking about the indoctrination of colleges and stuff. And I said, I'd never heard this. I've never said it before. But I said, how did I phrase it? I said colleges are like concentration camps for, gosh, what did I say? Anyway, I said something. I can't even remember.
Yeah, you can't leave it
Colleges
on
are
that.
like concentration camps for, I'm going to remember it. We'll circle back to that. Anyways, if I remember it, I'll tell you. If I remember, I'll tell you. But I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. Didn't even realize what I said. But it obviously, like, he didn't agree. So, like, it was just like, you can see in his face. It's like, what this kid just say? You know? And,
So back to the quote of the day, Mr. Concentration Camp.
No.
I want to ask y'all because you had mentioned it earlier when you were talking to Sarah about when I pitched it to her. So you obviously pitched the idea of the food truck,
Oh,
right?
like every day.
So what was the worry for you? Like how what did it worry you about it, and then what finally made you decide to do it?
It was collective worry, I think. Both, I mean, just not necessarily in could we do it, because we already were doing it, you know. I mean, he already was in restaurants. We were doing the cooking videos and everything else. So it wasn't a matter of, is this going to work? It was just a matter of really location was the issue. So we're looking around. We're in East Texas. There's not a lot of buildings available, you know, and especially for a younger couple just starting out, young business owners and everything. A lot of the businesses that were available just weren't at a price point that was gonna be good for us. And so we just decided, you know, hey, if there's not a seat at the table for us here in East Texas, we're gonna build it and we'll do it. And so he talked to me week after week after week about making the leap, getting the loan, getting the trailer, beginning this process. And I saw him night after night researching, watching videos on how to turn a regular cargo trailer into a food truck. And here we are now. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I love it.
I'd love to talk on this on the financial side. Another person that's really rich that I don't agree with, Mark Cuban, says you should never take out a loan to start a business. It's another one of those statements I do not agree with.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, if you can afford to pay for cash for startups, that's great.
right.
But like
old-fashioned.
I'm even under the opinion that if I was a millionaire, right, if I had $1 million liquid cash right now, but I wanted to start a business that cost me $20,000, I would still take out a loan for that $20,000. I would rather still use somebody else's money and be okay
Always
with the
use other
interest.
people's.
Yes. Like,
Whatever happened to that? When you
Love
were
it.
saying Mark Cuban saying never take a loan, like never happened to always use other people.
yeah.
Yeah.
My parents used to tell us.
See, and that's what you had to convince me of, to be really honest, is just, you know, I kind of grew up with that way of thinking of, you know, hey, if you don't have the cash to buy it now,
Right,
you
then
know,
you
don't
don't
do
need
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was a lot of fear surrounding that.
That was the sell right there, is breaking that
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know what you call it, a taboo or what, but she was afraid of loans, credit card. She was afraid of banking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not in a horrible way, in a very healthy way, actually.
Mm-hmm.
In a way
Yeah, I
of,
think it was
like,
more of
if
a
I don't
fear.
understand it, I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
So
That makes a lot of sense. My wife is the same way. She's a nurse practitioner. She went to school. She knew she was going to be a nurse her whole life. And, you know, she still to this day doesn't have a credit card. I have the credit cards and she just uses them.
yeah,
But she doesn't like them. They're
That's
not
good.
comfortable for her and she doesn't want them. And
Yeah.
she's never had a personal loan. I've had 1,000,000 loans. I'm always the one doing that side of stuff. But yeah, for us, it's a battle every day. With
is that a conversation between y'all anymore, or is it like you already know? Like,
Well, now, luckily, and I can say this, thankful to her, I was able to finally get a little more financial freedom. So she'll find out about stuff Like, we bought this house in Mount Vernon while I was in Mexico. We were in Mexico. She didn't even know about it till like 2 or 3 weeks
Oh
after
my
we got
God.
there.
He bought it. We talked about this in one episode. He bought it. And, okay, so real quick, I texted one of the buddies. He said concentration camp for indoctrination. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's what I said.
Nice.
But
Rounded it up.
yeah, but
Go edit that in.
yeah, and so he bought a $3,000 360 camera, which is something I was going to bring up to you guys off camera, because with y'all doing venues and stuff like that,
Great
if
thing
you
to
have
throw in.
if you have somebody that'll work it, if y'all do want to expand to something like that, like something we make a partner up on, we'll figure that out
Sit
off
in my
camera.
garage, so
Yeah.
it's definitely needs
That'd
to
be
be
awesome.
used.
Oh my gosh, we could get it some use into business
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
That's an easy upsell with, weddings and everything,
Oh,
is people
like-
want that.
We do travel baseball, and my little girl does travel dance, and I'm like, you got the jerseys on, and she changes outfits for every dance. I'm like, if I had that set up and charged $10 a pop, I would make a killing.
Yeah.
But then I would have to miss all their stuff, and I was like, I ain't doing it. So I just put it up, and
with the pay scale changing or whatever it is that you have that shifts. Like for me, when I came in to business, like some of the fear, it wasn't fear of like, oh, I don't know. I knew right off the bat that I was going to take a pay cut. Him selling to me, he knew right off the bat, this is less money for me, right? You're
That
sharing
lifestyle
50%.
change.
Yes.
That yeah.
So like, even when you know, like, you have to readjust how you think about your finances if you're going to take an investment, because the goal is sometimes you buy an investment, you do something and it's immediately a asset. Sometimes it's a liability that you have to put work in to turn into an asset.
Right.
And with real estate, that's something that it's an asset once it's cash flowing or once it's ready for sale. Same thing with like y'all's is, there is a liability of a loan note that has to be paid. But at the end of the day, if the money that's coming in is paying for the bills and all that, it's immediately an asset.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we've talked about it before, but every podcast does, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad, have you ever read it?
Mhm.
So it really breaks down the differences in liabilities and assets and how to identify what it is. Because there's so many people that think that something's an asset for them that isn't. With the massage chairs, it's a liability. There's no way around it right now. Like, it does not make enough money to be considered an asset. Now, over a 10-year term, it will be. It'll pay for itself 10 times over.
Nice.
But it's hard to say, when we're paying out of pocket each month on months that it doesn't clear enough to take care of the loan, can't put that in your asset column.
But it's like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
regardless, and having things like that just allow for you to feel more peace throughout the day and financial peace, knowing that, hey, there's a nest egg here that's growing, a nest egg here that's growing.
Diversify.
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to get to, sure, and
I think you guys are doing awesome at that.
Yeah, we own a ton of businesses that don't make any money. No, there's a lot to it. I think you said it to me when we became partners and we first started talking about things we wanted to do, is we didn't want to be the people that, like, okay, we'll go back to what she was saying for you. You're doing research, you're looking at doing this house, you have a great idea, you have a dream, and then something stops you, right? Now, we didn't want to be that. We did not want to be, we have an idea, we have a passion for something, not be willing to take the risk to do it. Y'all go back, anybody that hasn't seen this, if this is an AI clip that comes in, if you haven't seen Pablo's episode, the clip in Pablo's episode that he said, that he talks about him taking the risk for those 8 plays. This dude, one night, is in the middle of about to take his real estate to get his license, and the next night he owns an 8-plex. He is not making money at all. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, buys it knowing, like, I have to, like, talk about being willing to take a risk. That dude's crazy. Like,
because he sold when I bought him out, and so he had no income coming. This was his only source of income. He sold that to pursue something that he was not making. It cash flowed zero.
Crazy.
And it takes being on those places, to a place of sometimes you might have a dream that you chase and that you want to do in life, but you're not going to do it until you're pushed to the edge,
It almost takes a taste of desperation.
Right.
Yeah, I always say, y'all get comfortable being or be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
'Cause that's why we talk about the comfort zone, because you got to get out of it to grow.
Yep.
If you stay where you're comfortable, you're going to stay where you are. You're not going to grow. And failure isn't always bad. I always say that because if you're failing, that means you're trying, something's going to work for you. If you keep on keeping on. Like Joe Dirt said, life's a garden, dig it. Let's get going.
Yes.
I always say just keep plugging away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eventually, something will
Something
pan
stick,
out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day for me, like I've said this a million times on camera, off camera, I was so fortunate to come into a business that was already established with a partner that's already been doing it. A lot of people like you guys, you're starting fresh. I give the most praise to three that have started from the beginning and had to grow it to something, right? To get through every up and down. And it's not that we don't have up and downs as an existing business, there is, but I didn't have to go through a lot of it. Now I saw it as an employee. I worked for them, but when you don't have skin in the game, your check's guaranteed. It's just different. It's different knowing it's going to happen or knowing that things could happen. Because at the end of the day, 10 years ago, and I'm working for you, business fails. I'm 19. I'll get a different job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different for me. Of hey, they sucked at business, and now I don't have a job.
No, your 401k wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you left the building back then
Mm-hmm.
and went and did whatever you did. You went hanging with your friends, your girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
He left the building back then and was thinking about the building.
Yeah.
And everything in it.
I was here.
You don't know Brandon well.
Or he didn't leave the building.
Oh, yeah. Talking about worrying about everything. Yeah, I don't worry about stuff.
This is okay. So the reason
He
I
left
picked
the
this
doors
quote
unlocked.
today is
I have done that.
we just had a few things go wrong with the flip house. Not wrong, but more money than we were anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not okay with it. I call him. His is that sucks. And then he's, all right, what's next? You know what I mean? He doesn't let it bother him. And it's not that it doesn't bother him. He's not going to focus on it.
You need that balance.
Yeah, I have that
It's
problem.
good for us because he would probably go crazy.
Yeah.
And that circles back to the quote, when
Yeah.
you worry,
Yeah.
it just makes it worse. It gives life to the problem.
It feeds fire or feeds flame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll lose sleep. And
Me too.
he's
I've been sleeping good.
yeah. So, and like you said, but the thing is we need those sides of it. If you're more the worrier than he is, I'm more the worrier. You need those because I think at the end of the day, sometimes you need to worry, and sometimes you need that person to be like, dude, it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? We're gonna be all right. Not into the world. We learned something. We've said this a bunch of times. Anytime something in business costs you money, think of it as college tuition. I don't agree with standard college. Now I'm going to pay my college tuition.
Yes.
I'm going to learn something from a failure.
There you go.
So I think with any business that we do going forward, it has to be something that we're okay if we fail, right? Not if it's let's say it's a monetary thing of hey, okay, we can afford to try $3,000 into this business, see what happens. Fails, it fails, and that's not life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Whether that number is 3,000 a day or 50,000 next steps in our lives if we're doing well, you have that aspect. But I think you have a time aspect too, because with the 360 cameras, there's money there. There's money there. I went to every venue and talked to them, got on their list. I would go to catering companies, and I would go to the bar services, and I would say, hey, here's my info. If you book, I charge this amount for a party this size. You can charge whatever you want. If my amount's $400, you can charge $800. You probably got $8 just for getting me, or $4 for just getting me the job, and then we'll go do it. That was the business plan that we were going to do. But then we're like, all right, well, who's going to go do this every Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need
Not even-
multiple.
I'm not even here. I can't
Yeah.
do it. We had business cards and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and,
That's, I mean, but all goes back, not a bad problem to have.
No.
Yeah.
When it's ready to, when you're ready, you can
Yeah.
just fire it off and.
well, that was the thing is it's not like a bounce house where you can go set it up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have somebody.
Gotta
in
have
it
Be
all
there.
the
somebody,
time,
yeah, man, in it.
you know, and that's why like his son's going to be 16 year and a half, 2.5 years. Like, dude's going
Not
to
a
be dumb
bad
if he's
first
not.
job.
Yeah.
He's going to be putting up Christmas lights and working that 360.
He's going to be set. Yes. Starting in these awesome
He's
companies,
already
too.
helping us with Christmas lights.
Yeah, he helped me a little bit this year. He's
Awesome.
better than last year. I had my middle child come out one day. He's like, he wanted to come so bad. And, you know, you're limited when you're 9. He wants to get on the house. I'm like, how about you pick up and start bulbing?
Yeah.
No, that's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. You bulb 300.
Yeah.
He did about 7. It was like, no, I'm out. I'm going back to the truck.
They did. We did have one house. They were the loudest kids on the planet this night, but they bowled and what do you call this yards? Parts to go on the ground. Those
All the
clips?
ground stakes.
ground stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They clipped like 300 lights.
They did, yeah.
They
Sometimes you can get them to work.
yeah. I don't know how much you paid them, but they didn't do it for free.
Probably Big Jake's barbecue.
Yeah. Whatever. They
Made 'em
did
have food.
a job.
You right. But no, yeah, that's now we're getting close to time. I have one more question, and he might too. But with y'all just started, right? And I know y'all are working together, and you said you're working the business. What's in the future? Do y'all want employees too? Is that where y'all are headed, or
Oh,
are
yeah.
y'all still trying to? So
Yeah,
you're gonna need it if you're catering and doing that. You gotta have. You're gonna.
We're
have to
already
have some
there,
help for sure.
We've hired out, you know, for a wedding we did last weekend. Hired out people for serving and stuff, but it's, you know, people I've worked with, people she's worked with, and it's friends and stuff right now. But yeah, the employees will come because that'll allow us to, you know, double book Saturdays for caterings, and then we can split up and, you know, divide and conquer those days. Or she'll have a crew with her, I'll have a crew with me, work through, you know, who do you want, who's, you know, strong at this or not so strong at this, and just kind of figure that out. But yeah, and then eventually I'll let Herb take it from here. But, you know, we want to do stuff for her in her avenue of dreams too. I mean,
Okay.
Well,
for sure,
yeah.
and soon.
Yeah, we're going to use just really the construction background and everything else that, you know, we both can do together collectively, I think, to also open up a salon, you know, where instead we can provide a nice space for hairstylists out here too, and I can manage that and everything. So we've got the salon vision, and then of course getting into brick and mortar, that's still a huge one, you know.
Yeah, brick and mortar for a restaurant is
Yeah.
obviously massive and
Yeah.
very difficult in the town we're in. Anyway, in Mount Vernon, a lot of the any of the buildings that are already converted to kitchens are taken, and then one of the last ones that was a restaurant sold, and it's turned into something else now. But those space is hard to come by.
Hmm.
Oh, you never lied.
Sushi guy.
Oh,
Right now,
yeah.
sushi guy.
For sale.
I
I've
know we've
seen
had our
it.
eyes on that building forever.
Yeah, it was up like last year,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
We really, really dove into buying it. We looked at the numbers, looked at it.
Well, here's the thing, that it's
gonna
a real
buy-
estate. We wanted to buy it for the building
Mhm.
and then have somebody buy restaurant side of it and run it and change it, whatever, on their side. Because then it's you know,
We were gonna pull a McDonald's. We wanted the real estate.
Yeah.
not
Right,
the
because it is
business.
profitable.
I just told
the
her.
really, yeah.
but even they're grossing 46 a month. So I mean, it's not crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're over, but not crazy to buy that building, and I think they'll go $1,000 less.
Okay.
Because they're ready to.
Yeah, they're
ready to
ready to retire. They're-
And they've had that for quite a bit. Yeah.
the kids
on
don't
listing.
want it. and-
They're trying to move to like Aruba or somewhere. Like
Yeah.
That same exact scenario happened to us back when I was at 5B, right across the street from that. I don't know how familiar you are, but there's a little restaurant on the corner there. Across the street from it was a little hot dog place. It was called like
Sweet Home Texas.
Sweet Home Texas.
Mhm.
And it was an old couple, and they retired to like Florida. But the building went up for sale, and somebody bought it for office space, and like quick. And we were like, okay. Sorry.
us. Yeah, and I think with before we stopped, I think that is the hardest thing nowadays, because you almost have to decide, is it more cost efficient to buy or build? And it is, like, especially like here, like on South Jefferson, the average rent is $3,000 a month on this strip.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then the average, it's $1 million an acre, average cost for just an acre right here on South Jefferson. I mean, and that's just for empty land, no building. So it's really hard to say, okay, do I want to be in city limits, or will people drive? If I have a great, look at whatever it is, restaurant, or do I have a great retail product or something, are people going to drive that extra 10 miles, 5 miles, or whatever it is, come to me, but I can get half an acre or an acre for, third the price, and build on it. So it's definitely hard. We've looked at, because you have to have a commercial kitchen for us to be FDA registered for our seasoning company.
Yeah.
So like once we move past the cottage stuff, technically I can't sell outside of Texas.
Right.
I can't sell wholesale. Right. I have to do consignment deals or like sell direct for a cheap price or whatever. I can't.
You're limited there.
Yeah. So like, because we're limited there,
There's only so much you can do within that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you basically white label like we talked about, and you sub it out,
Yeah.
or you pay a lease for me to use somebody that has a commercial. Because you're not a restaurant, you don't need one full time.
right.
Kitchen it.
Packaging.
Look into commissary kitchens.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
don't have them around here, but
no.
'cause that's perfect for food trucks too.
Yeah.
Because, oil, got to dispose of that somehow. Things like that. So oil and trash, it's huge. But
I think
with the amount of food trucks in East Texas now and growing, a commissary kitchen somewhere central to the area would be a very wise thing.
I think the food truck thing is just so cool.
too.
We've talked about it. It's a full-time job. As obviously know that.
It is.
Your whole day is thinking about it. But we've talked about it a bunch of times. We like to eat. Like, well, do you do it? And then you try to, what do you do?
You've got to love it.
Yeah.
You've got to.
That wouldn't be for me. I love food. I don't love to cook like that. Like, I can see the passion in what y'all do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the different style. Like, I've never seen a food truck with that type. I mean,
yeah.
I wanted to ask that too. Like, does the menu change? And like, if it does change, where do you go? Is it just on the Facebook page where it?
Yeah, follow on Facebook, and that's being around here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll work on a website.
Yeah.
Not my.
They're good to have, yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
And he's like a mad scientist with coming up with crazy food, though. I mean, to be honest, I have to almost sometimes limit, like, and both of us have to hold each other back and say, okay, well, let's just print this menu on something like expensive so that we know that we'll keep it for a long time. And then, we'll switch it to something else when we get bored.
Seasonal.
Yeah, so he does like specials, seasonal
maybe
things.
3, because fall and winter I'll just kind of do one. But yeah, I mean, but I think the more you change it to, it gets a little too spotty. There is a cushy or like a good zone in there where it's like mixing it up, but also having something that people might crave or want to come back for.
It's like you said, if you have something there, like especially if I like it and I'm like, I want that, and I come back and it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's sad.
So that part of the business is fun for me too. Just real quick, like we haven't built up the data pool yet, but I will start diving through and looking at why is a Reuben a top seller on a Wednesday but not Thursday every week? Like, what is it? So weird things like that, and you'll find weird trends and stuff like that. Really get to know people.
Yeah,
and it's just funny and what they do and how they order.
What things work here, and all of that.
It also help you too when it comes to ordering. Like, you know what Makitos is?
Makitos.
You ever had Makitos? It's in Tyler.
Wow.
Japanese ramen and like sushi place.
Okay.
And I love Japanese food is one of my favorites.
No.
So good.
Japanese cuisine, but they have a spicy curry ramen there, and it's 2 hours away. So back when I was working for a company, I had to go there once a month for work. That was my spot, right? And then like they always had it. They never ran out. Like they always had it. And like the last 3 times that we've made the trip to Tyler, and it wasn't just for that. We had other things to do. But while we were there, I was like excited for Makitos. And like first thing they say, because it's their top seller, first thing they say, hey, just to let you know,
we're out of the spicy curry ramen right now. And I'm just like, come on. So like he said, like you go all the way to somewhere.
It'd be sad.
And then like there's a Best Cafe in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And they got this whole like cottage Airbnb type place, like all the Marilyn Monroe, like she stayed there, and they had all this fake stuff. It's a
Love
lot.
her.
But anyways, we stay there. It's you know,
fancy.
it's barely more expensive than a hotel, and it's a lot nicer. We always stay there when we go, and there's a Best Cafe that's a breakfast place, and they had this creme brulee French toast, and they had this chorizo burrito. It's absolutely insane. So we go there, we eat it, love it. Go the next time, and it's like that's a quarterly thing. So it was disappointing, but at the same time, we tried something else and loved that food too, right? So like you'll have both aspects of that from the customer standpoint of like, man, I love that. I wish I could get it again. But when it's like a local thing, like, and like it's marketed like, hey, it's quarterly, that's going to be back next January, right, or whatever. But like, but now we know, like, I know their schedule of when they do their chorizo stuff. So like, we know, hey, if we go in February, I'm going to get the creme brulee French toast and the chorizo burrito.
We all talk about McDonald's, and but from their business standpoint, there is something to be said about them. That's as a real estate company. But what they've done with the McRib like that,
oh my gosh, yeah,
they're just like fishing for it's like, and it gets people, and it's like
a horrible,
and it's not
sandwich.
good.
Yeah.
But it's back.
Yeah,
But it's back
I don't even
now.
know one knows what it's made of.
When we got into branding, that was something I was talking about with her, was the people that walk into work with a Starbucks cup. 'Cause we both lived in Dallas for a long time, so a lot of this comes from that. But or kids showing up to school with like a Chick-fil-A cup because you're letting everybody know, like, my parents brought me lunch or something like that. But it has to be a certain brand. So just putting it out there, but like there's something to creating something about that where it's like, like Chick-fil-A has it right now. They've got the grasp on it right now. But Chick-fil-A's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it just get popular?
Trend, and it was good publicity, bad publicity. It's still publicity.
Right.
It's just like the woke crowd or whatever, just on them because they're a Christian company. To me, it took off. Like,
That's good for them.
especially, I mean, I know it's great for them, and it's bad for us because everyone craves it on Sunday and it ain't open.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You can't get it, but it's a good thing they're closed. But I mean,
They're brilliant
I'm a
with it.
huge Chick-fil-A fan. I know all of
gosh,
them up
it's
there.
bad.
Could you imagine how much their
This
revenue
guy.
would go up if they opened on just one Sunday in a year and marketed it and say, we'll be open Sunday this
Yep.
day. That's it.
one time, like,
One time.
But I mean, even the Preferts, we go to church with Bill, and like they're not open. Like they never will.
Yeah.
It's millions that they lose. They don't care. It's like, no, we believe our workers should be at home, have the opportunity to go to church whether they want to.
And
or
they're
not,
built
that's up them.
to operate within that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't, like, even it's not just Sunday, it's weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Like they could be 7 days a week and do swing shifts and make millions more.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
That's great. I think it's great.
I think that's good culture, and I think that's when I first went into business, the first thing, and I don't know if I've ever said this on camera, but Bill, he told me, he's like, the most important thing that you can ever do is not like your sales or your product. It's being honest with the people you're working with and the people that you're selling to, and that's something, that I think anybody can easily do. It's so easy to do a white lie. I mean, I don't know what it would relate to you guys, but let's say you have a particular thing that like you've already kind of made your prep for, and that last hour of the day you ran out. You have more where you can make more, but just to say, like, hey, I'm out or whatever, and not do it, that's a little white lie. It doesn't hurt anybody. But then on the aspect of like our business, where we have something where we make a mistake, and it would be very easy to put it off on on something internally with the phone, right?
Yeah.
And we're very transparent with our customers, but we also don't tell them more than they need to know. But at the same time, we don't always have the right answer to what's going wrong. Like sometimes we just have to tell people, like, we can't fix it. I don't know. We've tried.
Yeah.
I've tried every part. I know everything to the extent of my knowledge. I don't think if I can't fix it, I don't think you're going to find somebody that can. But like, we don't charge for troubleshooting. If we can't fix it, we don't charge.
That's good integrity.
Yeah, and that's our
Yeah.
thing is like, is it's on our window. We don't charge for troubleshooting because if we can't figure it out, we're not going to charge you for the labor it took for us to get it wrong.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
If we mess up something that wasn't messed up when you brought it in, I've punctured batteries and stuff back.
That's got to be the worst feeling.
Didn't have it in stock, and I'm like, people don't want to live without their phone, especially when they come in for a 20-minute screen repair.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, sorry, it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, can I have my phone back now? No, because it
Oh my
until
God.
I
It's a
get
paperweight.
your
I gotta order
battery
a battery
exploded.
for you.
It's on fire, and it
Yeah.
almost burnt my fingers off. There's literally.
I'll
like-
show y'all some burnt
Yeah,
marks
on the
out
way
there.
out.
I
Oh
can
my
imagine somebody
goodness.
crying like immediately.
Yeah, so I had one on the hot plate over here on this the tall white counter, and the battery was like swollen, so I had to just heat it up for a second, get the adhesive off, so I get the back off. Like boom, and the flame was like to the ceiling, and so I was freaking out. And we had fire extinguishers everywhere,
Oh my God.
and I hit it. And I'll be honest with you, this was maybe 2 years ago, so I was like 33. Never have even touched a fire extinguisher. So I didn't know how they work.
No.
Have y'all ever?
I've never touched a phone.
Okay, well, I blasted that thing, poof, and it's like powder. Like throwing powdered sugar on everything. And I had phones and iPads and stuff out
The
there.
mess.
And I was like, I should have just let the store burn down. This is worse. This is worse than the fire.
To clean up.
So I'm like, if something else catches on fire in there, I'm going to probably sit back and think,
But
should I just try to put this out or
No.
the mess?
It's going to be easier.
So about a year ago, a year after that situation,
I contain that.
so you kind of have to put a little bit of a bend in the battery to remove it on certain devices, but you don't want to overbend because it'll ruin the battery and you got to replace it. So you'll bend a little bit, add adhesive remover or heat, and you'll take it off. But you kind of push it down like that to flatten it back out. Well, he goes to do that, and I guess there's a piece of glass on the table that he didn't see, which punctured it. They're lithium-ion batteries, so when that chemical reaction goes, it's not a slow burn. It's immediately like pink hot.
And it's on my desk.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
So it lights up, and I had a metal trash can below me. And
Knocked it.
Came in clutch.
Yeah,
But it burned all the
It's
carpet
fun.
up and stuff still. But
That's crazy.
I didn't realize
They're
how dangerous cell
Yeah.
phone repair.
yeah, our
could be.
neighbors,
either.
I hope they don't watch this. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're like,
like,
I didn't know we were
up our
constant-
insurance.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know we're in constant risk of burning down.
I had no clue.
I mean, we're with the fryer in the trailer, and I thought that was like, too much fear of explosion and
Yeah.
everything else. But I think I'm more afraid of explosion in here than ever.
We've had four fires, I think.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I mean,
nothing
it's
too
more
bad.
fires. Yeah.
We've had a few robberies onto this location.
this
That's the
one,
other
yeah.
one. And y'all made insurance claims. This is before I was an owner. Had insurance claims on it. And Jason was the agent. Jason, they didn't have near as many phones as they claimed that they did.
Well, that's not true.
I'm just messing.
But we better safe than sorry.
You're like, what's our limit again? That's how many
No,
phones
That's
we
what.
had.
Hey, what's our deductible?
Yeah.
No, they got. So I don't know how that worked, but like they stole them all, but then the police ended up finding them and getting all of them back.
Yep.
So
So they didn't even get a chance to like sell any of them off or anything.
no,
Wow.
But we did. We never got them back.
oh, and I think most of the claims are from like all the damage they did while they were there.
It's like we filed the claim, and if it was one or two customers that we had to replace it for, we bought them a new one. So
Wow.
even once they found them, we never had to retrieve anything. Wasn't that bad. Could have been way worse.
Yeah.
It was like 3:00 in the morning on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And
the first time.
I was had a few cold drinks that night. Was not prepared to drive them out. The 17 cops, like they had the building surrounded because they thought they were still in there.
Oh, wow.
Something fell over when they pulled up or something like that. So like
So you
they
had
wouldn't
some
even-
drinks and
they
drove up
wouldn't-
here to all these cops.
17.
Well,
please.
I had some.
Yeah,
I went to
you were-
sleep.
okay,
and I woke
okay,
up and I was
good.
like, I don't want to drive them out. It's horrible. Because I lived in Texarkana,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's a long night. And
Yeah.
next day.
next day was horrible.
that corner frame over there. There was one that they were trying to get into it. The key was literally set right beside it, and they just never looked down.
That's kind of dark too.
Yeah, but he's telling this kid to punch it, and so he punches it like 6 times, and it's just rocking.
Yeah.
The glass never breaks, and it finally just comes off the hinge for them to grab all the phones because he's just hitting it, and it never broke it though. We still use it.
Thank you.
And then another kid that broke in, which this one was crazy. So like, you know, I always have my gun at least with me or close to me, and about 10-15 minutes before this break-in happened, I had to use the restroom. My wife and I stopped. I went and used the restroom there at the office and then went to the movies. Mm-hmm. Well, this kid breaks in. He's holding a BB gun. But it's a pistol. You can't tell it's a BB gun. It's a pistol. And we see it on camera and all this stuff. And then, like, he gets, when the alarms and stuff go off, he gets scared and he leaves. Mm-hmm. The cops end up catching him, and that's how they found the first crew, because the first crew had told him how to break in. So they arrested him. He snitched all them out. They got the phones back. Mom came in the next day, and Pablo wasn't there. It was just me and Brandon, and came in crying and was like, you know, please don't do this. And I was like, I'm not the decision maker. That's Pablo and Brandon or whatever. And Brandon just kind of tells her, like, because her excuse was, well, he didn't steal anything. And Brandon's like, because he got scared. If the alarm wouldn't went off, he just stole everything he could.
He had every intention.
Yeah, the intention was
Premeditated all of it. Yeah.
But then he showed her the video of the pistol. And he's like, one of my employees was here. Like, if he'd have shot him, like we would be having a different conversation. Like, if he's holding a gun or what he thinks is a gun,
right?
Like, it would have been a different situation.
You can't play like that.
You'd have changed both of their lives.
No,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
No.
Not in Texas. You don't play around.
Yeah.
No.
But the thing is Pablo and him talked about it and prayed about it, and they said, hey, we're not going to not press charges, but like they offered to like put them through a camp, like a youth camp, say, hey, instead of going to juvie, we'll pay for this or whatever.
Right.
And the judge was like, no, this is strike 3.
Yeah,
he's done. He said
Also, they didn't go for
and
it.
you know what? Things happen for a reason. And be honest, that could have been a place where he then, you know, he goes to a place where he could meet God at that point, or, you know, and everything, and find a new path in life and all of that.
He tried to meet God in 15
cornerstone.
minutes. He'd have met me.
He did, yeah. He was about to meet God.
You never know.
But we'll get signed out. I know he's got to go to T-ball. I do too. Mine's not till later. I get a little bit more time. I really appreciate you guys coming on. We'd love to have you on again if y'all are interested. We are. What episode? This is on episode. I don't know. I'll text y'all when it's going to release. We've got a few filmed that are going on. I know we got at least 2 more. But we'll get y'all, send the link and all that stuff so y'all can view it and hear it or whatever. Promote it on your own if y'all want to. That helps us out in your hopefully.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll be in touch. I do have some ideas. I want to get y'all some seasonings. There's something y'all want to partner with on that 360 camera if we can get somebody to work it.
You never know.
I'm already thinking on it.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Man.
Thank you guys so much for having us on.
Yeah.
It's totally unexpected. We've never done anything like this, but y'all made it really easy and been awesome.
Appreciate
Good
it,
conversation with good people.
Yeah.
We're new at this, so we appreciate the feedback. I mean, we're not very good at stuff.
Y'all are easy to talk.
Good.
That's huge. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm proud of y'all, proud for y'all, and I hope everything goes good. And I can't wait to come eat again.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all soon for sure.
Thank you.
But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is a Comfort Zone podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm Dalton.
Have a good one.